Razor, how'd you like the roll down on the ice last night? New roll for you, huh? Ice side.
Yeah, mixing it up a little bit, trying to get my reads in without screwing them all up. My high school education.
You get nervous kind of interviewing these guys? Kind of like, oh, geez, what am I going to do now?
Yeah, I'm getting there. I'm getting there. It's like, all right, let's try and not find the cliche question that I was asked a million times that I rolled my eyes at in between periods and try and think of something good. So, yeah, it's not the easiest thing, but I'm getting there.
All right, good win for them last night. Coming back, 7-day road trip. They go 2-1 on the trip, and sometimes that first game back, as you know, kind of sleepwalking a little bit. Maybe not great in the first period, but still jumped on them. Still a good win for this team, though.
That was a really good win, and for all the reasons you just said, and extra difficult to come basically 48 hours from playing in Vegas to the hour, having the afternoon game there. They stayed out there. They got up real early and just flew all day long. This time of year with the days being so short, getting in when it's dark out isn't the easiest thing. So they were all grinding in a big way, speaking with them last night, but I think it's just a testament just how good they are. More than anything, they're just so talented and so much better than most of these teams that even on their poorest night or struggle night, if they stay a little focused, they can find a way.
So, one of the big reasons why this team is playing so well is all the depth that they have on it. And one of the guys is Pavel Zacha. Just looking at some of his stats, I mean, just leads the team in 5-on-5 assists. What is he? Also, obviously doing great, like with goals on 5-on-5. Is he like one of the most underrated players on this team? Or underappreciated? Maybe that's a better word to use. Underappreciated.
Yeah, I think it can be both. I think he's definitely underappreciated from the fact that you have, of course, the Pastas, the Marchands, but what he also does, the 5-on-5 scoring, number one, he's not getting a lot of power play time. He's on the second unit, but that's been sparingly at times as well. Penalty kill, but also the fact he's played right wing, left wing, and most importantly, center. That center position for this Boston Bruin team can be difficult. The way you play defense, the way you have to commit to a 200-foot game, like Patrice Bergeron does, like Charlie Coyle does, like Thomas Nosek does, and Zach has filled right in with that. And he's a 6th overall pick, so he's been a stud his entire life. And I think coming over from New Jersey and being around these guys and really learning how to play the game on a high level winning team, he's been able to do that. So it's a huge bonus for them to be able to lose David Krejci but pop Pavel Zacha in and not have to disrupt Charlie Coyle in his third line role.
So right next to him on that line is Jake DeBrusk, who was awesome last night, and he's been playing with that different line, specifically next to Taylor Hall. Is it possible that the speed on that line maybe suits him better in some ways than playing with Bergeron and Marchand?
It could, and it seems to have done that the last 3 or 4 days. Certainly was very excited to score against the Bruce Cassidy-led Las Vegas team, the game winner on Sunday, and then carried over into the first. And he talked about playing with the speed, Taylor Hall being one of the fastest guys in the league, and Zacha's no slouch either. So I think he's learned a lot playing with Patrice and Brad Marchand and how to still continue to develop defensively and where to go and where pucks need to go at certain times, at certain shifts. And I think he's carried that over to play with those guys and not rely on Patrice and Brad, but to have learned from them and to be able to carry it over on his own. It's been a big development for him.
Talking to Andrew Raycroft right now of Nesson, talking some bees with Razor. And Razor, we've talked before about like the whole team kind of coming together, maybe this final, for Bergeron, right? And how that's important, that locker room. Krejci's future, who knows? Does it scare you at all that Pasta's not done yet? And that if he's thinking this could be it, you know what I mean? Like just one more year, then he can run. You getting nervous at all with him?
I'm not getting nervous, but I've been asking a lot more questions from people around the league. And Bettman talked yesterday about the salary cap, and it looks like, unfortunately for the Bruins, it's only going up at about $1 million. Essentially, the league has to find a way to make an extra $150 million to not allow that to happen. So the expectation is salary cap's only going up $1 million to still pay back from what happened through COVID years. Doesn't give them a lot of wiggle room. The higher-end teams certainly didn't want to see that, and the higher-end players like David Pastrnak didn't want to see it. The one caveat to that is free agency in this salary cap era post-COVID isn't necessarily completely free agency. There's only a few teams that could afford David Pastrnak and pay him the huge money, and those are the bottom-end teams. So those are teams that are rebuilding in a few years away. The top-end teams just don't have any room. None of the top-end teams do. So I think if he wants to be in this Boston area, I think the winning one, he's not going to go to a rebuilding team is what I'm trying to say. I don't think he goes to an Arizona just to make an extra $1 million a year. So that's what's giving me pause and being concerned about. I think it's just trying to work through the numbers, both team-wise and player-wise, of what the cap looks like going forward.
You just bring that up, and it makes me think, like, if it's only going up that much, and it's like, well, if you do lose Bergeron and Krejci, it frees up a lot of money. Well, not really, right? They didn't sign for anything, so it's you could be really in a bind with some other guys like Foligno and Zacha both up, Clifton, some of those guys up.
No
enjoy
question.
it. Let's enjoy it.
Yeah, that's basically it. Like, let's enjoy it and have a blast the next few months, because all the good teams are going to have to do a lot of paperwork and a lot of accounting to get their guys back next season.
All right, so random question for me. It was just curious who you think the 3 toughest players are on this team. Rank them. Top three toughest players on this team. You got to rank them.
I'm taking. Well, I'm going to go. I'm not going fighting wise. I'm going toughness wise. I'm going Patrice Bergeron. I'm going Brad Marchand, and I am going back end. Charlie McAvoy.
Okay, now go fighting. Go through fighting now.
I will go an absolute fight. I'll go AJ Greer, Nick Foligno, close to those two guys, and then Trent Frederick.
Okay. Wow. See, that's how you separate those two very distinct differences.
So I just want to circle back, because I saw some comments from Pastrnak talking after some of those baseball free agent contracts came out last week about the differential between, hockey player salaries and those contracts and the other professional sports. But it doesn't sound like you think that that's a goal of his to kind of set the new threshold for a high contract and beat out Nathan McKinnon or someone like that.
I don't think so, because I don't think, unlike baseball, that it's the New York Yankees or the San Diego Padres or a team, the Los Angeles Dodgers, or hopefully the Boston Red Sox, the highest end teams that are the playoff teams that are doling out the biggest money. Next season, the teams that are going to hand out the most money, Chicago Blackhawks gave out the biggest contract to a defenseman ever, and they are the worst team by far in the league. So you have to kind of go to those teams that have a lot of money coming off the books that are rebuilding to really go and get the largest payday. Even Nathan McKinnon could have probably got $2 or $3 million more going to a bad team, but he wanted to stay in Colorado. Cale Makar is the same way. Connor McDavid in Edmonton. So it's just a bit of a different mentality, and I think the highest end guys in hockey understand that they're better off making a couple $1 million less a year and being on a great team than trying to hit the biggest jackpot.
All right, Ray, so listen, we appreciate the
Thanks,
time.
buddy.
Hope we can see you down there ice side here, hopefully coming up soon as well.